Alright, welcome to the second tutorial for the Ka50 Black Shark 2 in DCS. We'll cover the basics of the weapon systems to get you started and to show that it's not that complicated. There's a few key presses to set before and remember, but if you've tried it a few times, it'll be quite easy. And unlike the some of the other modules, like the A10, F16, F18 for example, you generally have one great weapon system to focus on, which is the Vikhr anti-tank missile. After that you've got rockets and your cannon, which also work well, especially the cannon in my opinion. But you only really have the TV targeting screen to concentrate on, which will lock up targets for you and laser guide the anti-tank rockets, the Vikhrs, towards the target. So let's just have a quick explanation of the Ka50 targeting systems from the targeting computer. If you make a cold start, this here weapons control system will be set to down. It's important it's set to up. After I set up, the targeting computer needs to go up as well, and then master arm set to up as well. If you're hot starting the chopper like I did now, this will be up already. Master arm will be down, but the targeting computer will be on. Alright, second thing. Manual or auto weapon system control switch. This one for me is always set to manual. This allows you to fire the Vikhr anti-tank rockets at a further distance. You can fire them at any distance actually, but if they're set to auto, you'll be locked to something like 6.5 or 7 kilometers. Whereas on manual you can fire at 8 kilometers or further away. Important to understand though, the rockets won't hit much, if anything, above 8 or 9 kilometers, but it's still helpful with manual. Burst length: short, medium, long. This generally affects the rocket pods mostly. So short, you fire one rocket from each pylon with the press of your weapons release. On medium, you fire 5 rockets from each, and long you fire 10 rockets from each for a total of 20 rockets. I usually use the medium one because the rockets are difficult enough to aim and inaccurate enough to aim as to make it difficult to hit anything with just a short burst. But if you're put out 10 or 20, you stand a much greater chance of affecting the entire area. High explosive or armor piercing. This affects your cannon, so you can actually set what type of ammo you want to fire while flying, and switch this between. So if you're going for a armored target like an APC or BMP or something like that, switch it to armor piercing. And for softer targets like soft vehicles, infantry, stuff like that, you set it to high explosive. Up here you have your remaining cannon rounds times 10, so you have 240 rounds. This changes with the type of ammo you're firing. I'm not quite sure why. Also, low and high, this is your cannon rate of fire. I usually leave this at high, and I do quick short bursts with the cannon instead. Down on the left by your targeting computer, you must use your laser to standby off. So this is laser on. You need the laser on to get a targeting range and to get a targeting lock to guide your Vikhrs, as well as your cannon actually. If you want to have the cannon follow the target. Also, auto turn can be useful sometimes. I'll show what it does once we get up in the air. Right, so key commands. Press escape, DCS controls, and let's start out with the Trigger Gunfire. So you can search for it. So search and type in Gunfire and it will bring you to this place. And while you're at it, search for Gun Select. Gun Select will shift your cannon trigger to unsafe or safe again. Alright, next thing. The easiest thing here is not to just search through the menu, but go to search and type in Shkval, Shkval. Now, slewing. So basically this is what controls your TV screen, where you're aiming your TV and locking targets. So you need to set slew up, slew right, slew left and slew down. This one you'll be using a lot. You also need to set your Shkval center. If your TV screen is aimed out here, it's much easier to just recenter it. Also, while you're at this, you need to set Shkval designate target, unguided Shkval designate target. You also need to set the wide view and the narrow view. This is your zoom level for the TV. Next up, you need a good key or button for your lock target. So once you have your TV above a target, you'll lock it up by pressing this button. And you'll have a range indicator and a firing cue if you're within range. Next up, you need to search for helmet dash mounted. So search helmet. That's enough actually. So helmet mounted system. This will bring up little eyesight, kind of like the F-16 and F-18 and A-10 helmet mounted sights, though a much more crude and analog version of it. It will, however, allow you to slew the TV to where you're looking. It's quite useful sometimes. And then I need to use this button for hover on off if you haven't done so already. It'll make it easier for, at least in the beginning, to come to a good hover and concentrate on the TV, for example. So, narrow view, wide view, helmet mounted system, auto hover or hover on off, your gunfire. I forgot one actually, release weapons. That's important. That's where you fire your Vikhr, your rockets, your gun pods, for example. So release weapons. Your gun select. That's the trigger safe, unsafe for the cannon. And one last thing, you won't be using it much, but it can be useful. You can search for TV target. So search TV target. Increase and decrease size. I'll show what this does soon enough. Right, so that should be it. So while we're on the ground, on the FARP, we're quite close to the enemy barbecue. So let's have a look at the map first of all. This is a multifunction display. It is unfortunately in Russian, so I can't read it, I don't understand it. But you can learn what key presses are important to understand. So if you go down to the bottom right key, you'll bring up the map. And the second from the left, down here, you have plus and minus. So minus and plus. You can zoom in and zoom out on the map. Right, as you can see now our TV is all grayed out. If you press the center Shkval, you'll see a little circle here. That's where your TV is currently looking. You can see it down here. Now if you want to use your slew controls that you set, you can see the TV is moving and the little circle here is moving, indicating where the TV is looking. So let's have a look at one of the houses over there. And then you can use your zoom in or field of view change to have a look at the building. Now, if you happen to lose your TV, you still have an indication that it's to the right. The circle here indicates the basically as far off as it can look, and that's way off. The easiest thing to get it back is to just recenter your TV using your recenter button, and it'll come back right to the center again. Alright, so before you take off, make sure your laser is on, your targeting navigation system is on, master arm on, manual mode. I actually forgot to show you one key press, that's important. So escape, adjust controls. And go ahead and search for weapon selection. So weapon selection. So inward stations and outward stations, set those to a easy to reach key. I have mine on the on a 4-way hat on the joystick. Right, okay. So what these does is, these are your weapon stations. So outward pylons down here, and inward pylons. These always work in pairs, so you can't really have rockets here and Vikhrs there and a gun pod there and something else here. These work in pairs, so if I choose my outward stations, I've chosen my Vikhrs, my anti-tank missiles, and my inward stations are currently equipped with 40 rockets, 20 under each wing. So there you go. You have the Vikhrs on the outer pylons, 6 under each, and rocket pods under the inner pylons. If you take a look at the cannon is mounted on the right side of the chopper. It can move, so you can fly and the cannon can be locked on a target, and it can move around, but it cannot aim to your left very much, at least. It's basically your cannon will fire something like this and add to a certain degree to the right. So it's not a gun turret like an Apache or a Mi-24, for example. Also, when you hot start the chopper, the annoying anti-collision beacon will be turned on. You see the underneath the chopper there? You turn that off on the right side panel. Anti-collision beacon, so that's off. And thankfully we've now lost the red light. Alright, so let's go ahead, take off, and introduce you to the Vikhrs first. And gears up. Let's have a look at the map. And trimmer button held pressed. And let's get some speed. Now, thanks to all the automated processes of the Ka50, I can release the trim button, have her fly, and I can actually control my systems, make sure everything's set up right. So I want to go to my Vikhrs. So those are my outer stations. Manual, medium, high explosive. We can change that later if you find any armor targets. And now you see on the map we've passed waypoint number 2. And we have a green line towards waypoint number 3. We also have a distance towards that waypoint, which is 11.9 kilometers. So let's turn left towards the target. And you can actually see the target over there at 12 o'clock. That's one heck of a barbecue they're having there. Let's take it out. Now, as you can see, my TV is way off center now, so just recenter it. And you can actually see it center right above the smoke for now. Alright, so we have a distance 9.6 to target area, and we'll actually turn a little bit left and come in over the little town by the sea here. Let's start slowing down. We have 8.2 kilometers to target. Should do it. We're in a fairly stable hover, but just to make sure, since we know we're safe right now, there are no other threats, just for the mission purpose. And I'll go ahead and grab some altitude and recenter the TV again, and just to make sure we're in a good stable hover, I'll turn on the auto hover. We'll see the altitude hold will turn on as well. And the chopper will make a few adjustments and come to a clean, nice and stable hover. Now, if you look at your map again, we have a yellow line as well. Now, if I slew the TV downwards, all the way to the island, for example, you see here, this yellow lines here, this is where your TV is looking. So if you're having a hard time finding a waypoint, for example, if you have a target at a waypoint, or if you see targets added in the mission, for example, you can easily see targets where they start out, or where the word mission starts by symbols. You can use this yellow line to look for them. So I'm gonna place it over the waypoint here. And as you can see, it moves very far sometimes, because from the angle we have now, by just moving it a little bit, it's gonna go way off. But it's a really good way to find your targets. Alright, so we have our targets. Let's zoom in using your zoom in key or button. And we can zoom in using our normal just zoom view to find the targets here. So those are 2 main battle tanks, Abrams. Let's zoom out a little bit, move it faster. So we have infantry here by the barbecue. They're apparently using crude oil for the barbecue, that's fine. And let's see, that looks like Bradley, doesn't it? Then out on the right we have 2 50 caliber equipped Humvees. That should be it. Yep. So let's start with the tanks. And zoom in. Now again, laser is on. If that's not on, nothing's gonna happen. Now use your lock button. So that's the adjust controls. Lock target. You see here the little center square needs to place on target. You can change the size of this using the adjust controls. TV target frame decrease and increase. So increase size and decrease size. You're not going to use it very often, but it's nice and handy to have if you can't get good luck. So we have the square placed on the tank. Press lock target. Now the TA here means the target is locked. If you press and hold the lock target, you can slew again. And now you're not having a TA, which means you're not locked on to any kind of contrast here. Like I said, it's contrast detect, so maybe we can lock up the infantry, but I'm not quite sure. Nope, it's not seeing it, and it probably shouldn't, it's just too small. So slew it back on the tank, and hit lock target. If you try to slew it now, you can't change the target. You have to press and hold the lock button. Now you can slew again. And there you can release and slew. Or you can just, see, lock target, press and hold the lock button, change target, release the lock button, and you're reacquired. Now, we're pretty far off, so let's get some altitude. And right now, as we're on a altitude hold for the autopilot, we have to adjust it by giving a lot of throttle. I think it's fine there. Let's see if we can get a hit from this distance. You see the large circle here. This is where the current pylon is aiming. If you're in automatic mode here, you can't fire the Vikhrs if the big circle here is not aligned to your TV. And if you don't have a C down here, you can't fire it either, because it doesn't have a good targeting solution. So at the moment we're out of range in auto mode. Switch to manual, you'll see we're clear to fire. So it's locked up. 7.7 kilometers might be a bit too much, but we'll try. So rifle, and we'll have a look at the Vikhr missile, just because it's quite cool. It might fall short. Nope, good hit. Nice, excellent. So as you can see, the tank is burning, and it's gone. So even the heaviest tanks are taken out by a single Vikhr. Now let's reacquire target, lock it up, and as you can see, if I switch to auto, I lose the C, even though the circle is above the small circle. Now, if you go back to manual, it's still important to keep this as well centered above the small circle as possible, because if you aim it outside and you fire now, the rocket will have to make a turn. So basically you're firing the rocket straight forward, then it has to make a turn to the right, bleeding energy. So let's try and rifle it here. You saw the trail here, so it goes there, and then it burns some more energy going back and forth. Let's see if it has enough energy to reach the target anyway. It might. And it did, though barely. So both main battle tanks are taken out. And right now, it's still locked, by the TA. You can't slew it unless you either recenter the TV or you press and hold your lock key. So let's press and hold, move to the right. Let's find the Bradley. That's 7.8 kilometers. You know what? Let's take out the. Let's do it like this. Recenter. We're gonna recenter, and to do that, we first have to uncage. So using the uncage switch, and now we can recenter. Now let's zoom in. So basically, we have a target area. You can see small dots here and there. And let's take out the Bradley while actually attacking, flying forth, and using our helmet-mounted sights to find his position, and then lock him up using the TV. So press the hover off, disable the altitude hold, and let's get some speed up. So trimmer button, some throttle, and let's go into forward momentum. Now, if I bring down the helmet mounted sight, if I press and hold the uncage key, the TV is going to follow my helmet mounted sight. Let's just get my course straight here. I can actually zoom in quite a bit. Let's see where it is. Okay. So press and hold. And we have something there. And release your uncage. It's not quite honest. Just readjust. Slewing. Locking. And get some altitude. And rifle. Just in time, since they're locking us up. So let's turn a little bit, make it more difficult for them, and it's gone. So what you heard there was the laser painting warning, basically. The Ka50 is equipped with a laser warning system, so when they start lasing you, let's get rid of that. You see a warning symbol, so in front, left, right, behind, up or down. So let's reset that. And the Bradley was taken out as well. So what we have left now is a bunch of infantry surrounding the barbecue. We also have two 50 cal equipped Humvees, which will take out with the cannon. Right, so again, thanks to all the automation, the autopilot and stuff with the Ka50, you can actually fly towards the target and be heads down in your systems at the same time. And that's the speed warning, so let's slow down a little bit. I'm gonna extend off the target here. Then I'm gonna come back using high explosive ammunition for the cannon. So cannon safety up. And for the cannon, I prefer to use auto, because if I'm not in auto, I can fire even though the cannon is way off. So if I'm in manual and I accidentally have my target out here, I can still fire the cannon, but it'll just throw out all the ammunition straight forward. Right, so we center Shkval. Let's prepare the helmet mounted sight. And turn around to our left. And a little bit of throttle. And got the fire there. And we don't have to fly extremely fast for this. So let's see, yeah, they're just in front of the fire. So hold the uncage Shkval switch, place it above the two dots there, and release it. And that's fine. And we can readjust using the Shkval slew. and remove the helmet mounted sight. So let's lock up the first helmet there. Let's pause. These lines here indicate where your cannon can fire. So as long as your target's within these lines, you can hit them. And readjust a little bit. I'm just gonna put them a little bit more on the right. So we're at 3.5 kilometers. Let's see if we can hit them. It's far out, but still. You've got a pretty good reach in the cannon, even though the accuracy falls short in the longer distances. He's burning, so let's reacquire the target. Next one. And turn away. See, so thanks to the autopilot holding the chopper in a very stable forward motion there, I could just concentrate on changing targets using the TV. Let's recenter Shkval and extend. So I got some good hits on the first one, and I got some really good hits on the second one. So they should both be gone by time we turn around. So let's come around. Let's come to a hover. Let's have a look-see. So they're both burning. Right. So for rockets. Let's come to a semi-hover again. So, gun safety off. Inner pylons chosen. So like I told you before, if you choose short, you fire 1 rocket from each pylon. Medium, fire 5 rockets from each pylon. And long, you fire 10 rockets from each pylon. I prefer medium. This here is your rocket targeting symbol. This is where the rockets will land. I prefer to use the TV targeting systems or system to help with the rockets. So let's come right and make another running pass at the infantry using the rockets. The reason I prefer to use running pass is one, you're not as much as sitting duck as you're in a stable hover. You can move, you can take defensive actions and maneuvers. Also, it's easier to aim from a moving position. But remember, the rockets are still pretty unexact. It's more of an area of effect weapon. And let's see how they perform against the infantry right now, because these are high explosive anti-tank rockets. For just pure infantry, would have been better off with the other version. Alright, so let's come around. And again, we'll bring down the helmet-mounted sight to help us acquire the target. Hold, uncage, cage. Aim at the fire. Get rid of the sights. That's fine. We'll just put it find infantry. Right, so now we need to line up, pause, this rocket symbol here with that TV symbol, or at least the distance to it, because the infantry is spread out here and here, all around, everywhere. But this gives us a good distance indication to where to aim this. Right, again, we're in medium. let's start out with the short. So if I'm in short now, bring up, and I press and hold the release, it'll just fire 2 rockets. So let's bring it up to medium. And fire. And let's bring it up to long just to try it out. And let's move that over to this area here and fire. And break off. And we got 8 rockets left. So with the last 8, let's go down to short. And come around again, still using the trimmer button. Let's put the last one on the let's put them on the containers actually. Let's see if we can. No, let's see if we can get the ammo over here. Ammo storage. And break off. Right, another long tutorial. That's it for today. Let's hope you find it helpful, and if you have any questions or suggestions, criticism, whatever, just let me know. And thank you very much, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.